The South African Democratic Teachers Union is convening its 9th National Congress in Johannesburg this morning. It meets at least once in 5 years to elect new leadership and adopt policies by means of resolutions. President Cyril Ramaphosa, Minister of Basic Education Angie Motshekga, and leaders from the Tripartite Alliance will address the Congress. ENCA's Moloko Moloto is covering that story for us and he joins us live. Moloko, good morning to you. So what's on the agenda of that Congress?
Well, good morning, Xolim Gambi. Yes, we are at the Nasrec Expo Center just on the outskirts of Soweto outside Johannesburg. This is where the biggest teachers union in South Africa, they argue that they are the biggest union in the public sector, but we understand that Nehau is contesting that. Nonetheless, we are expecting President Cyril Ramaphosa to later this morning open this 4-day Congress that's starting today. It's expected to end on Saturday, and approximately 1,500 delegates from across all the 9 provinces will be part. Actually, they will be running this particular Congress, electing. We are told that the nominations are going to be opened today, and we're told that this union has about 260,000 members. As I said, about 1,500 delegates will be descending to this area. But let me talk to Mugwena Maluleka. He is the General Secretary of Sadtu. Kulugumba Maluleka, thank you so much for your time. Let's first talk about the fact that currently, out of the top, you call it the top 8, the President, Deputy President, General Secretary, Deputy Treasurer, as well as the 3 Vice Presidents responsible for 3 portfolios. But those top 5 positions, 4 of those are held by males. Only 1 treasurer happens to be female. Clearly, you're not doing well when it comes to gender. You are just like the ANC. In those 2 key positions, you don't take women seriously.
Well, it is a struggle that we have got to wage throughout in ensuring that at the end of the day, as a trade union movement, we are able to take the gender question very seriously. We are dealing with that particular issue. At the beginning of our conference, the Deputy General Secretary of Sadtu will be very brutal in terms of how we must take these issues of gender equality and gender representation in our organization very seriously. Yeah.
There's no love lost between you as Sadtu and the Democratic Alliance. They are calling for teaching to be declared an essential service, and you are completely against that. And I know, for instance, you will say that this also contradicts the Labor Relations Act. But are you aware of the harm that pupils, particularly at the primary school level, go through in the long term if there's a prolonged strike?
Well, the Essential Services Commission of the CCMA has declared that education cannot be declared an essential service. Sadtu believes strongly that it's already an essential service as education because it's an enabler, and therefore we believe that we have got to ensure that as we go on strike, first and foremost is to ensure that we negotiate and we take our time to engage our employer so that we are able to avoid any disruption. Clearly, it is that a strike, it's to balance the powers between the employer and those that do not have the power, like the teachers. So clearly it is that we take responsibility, and therefore we believe that the learners should not be disadvantaged. That's why we have what we call catch-up program after the strike, because we acknowledge that indeed any disruption is going to have an impact.
Yeah. Let's talk about the violence that we have seen recently in schools. Some perpetuated by learners themselves, but also teachers themselves have not covered themselves in glory. We continue to see teachers who assault learners in schools. What are you doing to hold your members accountable?
We call on our members all the time to say, let them understand what the legislation is about. Our organization, Sadtu, believes in the laws of our country, and therefore we don't believe in corporal punishment. We train our school management teams all the time to ensure that they are able to understand and respect the rights of our learners, the dignity of our learners. We don't believe in violence. We therefore denounce any form of violence, and therefore any violence against the teachers is a violence against the nation, because we are and the nation is.
All right. General Secretary, we have run out of time, but we will continue talking, of course, throughout the day. I mean, one of the issues, as we said earlier, that the President, Cyril Ramaphosa, will be addressing this. Some of the expectations, one of the things that they expect the President to talk about is the issue about the Presidential Remuneration Review Commission report, which was handed to him in October last year, which talked about improving conditions and salaries of people who work for government.